What's going on, everyone? Chris and Ash, Onorato and Miller, live on a Wednesday afternoon ahead of Thanksgiving. A lot to do on the show. I won't waste a lot of time here before we roll the open, but we've got Glenn Clark, the head coach of the Albany FireWolves. National Lacrosse League season starts on Saturday, November 30th. Get to that home game
Whiteout
at MVP Arena against Saskatchewan. Not Saskatchewan.
You'll learn how to say it quickly, right?
Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Our NFL picks. We continue the tradition of talking with the Dallas Cowboys and the Salvation Army. We'll take you inside Albany House ahead of Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. Ash, we're all over the place.
There's no real rhyme or reason. We're everywhere.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Albany House.
We'll go to Albany House, Route 30 in Amsterdam. Shout out to Marcella's, Performance Industrial, Novice as well. Our thanks to all of our local business partners here on the show. All right, Ash, let's start with maybe the news of the week. Why don't we do that? Because this is the latest of what is happening in the NFL. Daniel Jones has a new home. Released by the Giants, requested his release. He got it. He had to wait until he cleared waivers. Nobody was going to pick him up with that ridiculous contract. So he clears waivers, and then you become a free agent. You can pick your spot. I think he picked the perfect. I don't know how many suitors were out there, but I think he picked the perfect spot here. When you look at what Kevin O'Connell did with Kirk Cousins, now Sam Darnold, even the way he had J.J. McCarthy looking in the preseason, I think this is a good spot for Daniel Jones. Won't have to play, presumably.
Right. And
will just kind of observe and learn and grow. And
he better hope he doesn't have to play, or the Vikings are going to regret their decision.
Yeah, I think you're right, too. But
because you're going to get thrown into the fire, and that's it.
Okay.
He doesn't know the offense. You got Justin Jefferson to throw to. That's great. But, yeah, if we're talking about going from Sam Darnold to, if Darnold breaks his leg next week, you're talking about real problems. Yeah.
And look, I mean, the Vikings did put some good drives together in Chicago last week, but they've struggled to score it a little bit here lately. So the bloom is off the Darnold rose. Yeah, that's the saying, isn't it? The bloom is off the rose.
The shine is off the, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
The honeymoon's over?
Well, definitely that. I don't know how good Minnesota really is, but Darnold looked really good to start the year. I think it's a good spot for Jones.
Yeah. It's a better team.
And again, he's not going to have to play. Aaron Rodgers says he's not sure about playing in 2025, but if he does, the Jets would be his first option.
Well, that's pretty stupid.
I have some news. The Jets might be his only option.
Yeah, that's true. But they wouldn't be my first option, even if I was a 40-plus-year-old quarterback. You're not going to win there. It's a total disaster.
Yeah, and this could just be stubbornness.
Yeah.
Right? Hey.
He's going to try to get it done.
He handpicked the Jets, forced his way there, essentially. The Jets gave the Packers what they wanted. They gave Rodgers everything he wanted. And so it could be stubbornness on his part to say, I have to try to make this work here. Yeah. We talked last week about tarnishing the legacy. And is it worse if he goes to a third team and it doesn't work there either, instead of it just being a flop in New York, and he can point towards that franchise, historically being a disaster. And that's why I don't know. Yeah. But I don't think, to your point, he's going to find a successful situation anywhere else that says, hey, we've got everything we need on our roster. All we need is this 41-year-old quarterback. Right. I just don't see that happening.
I don't think so either. There are some that you think of, like New Orleans. Do you take a risk on him? Do you go down, bring him down there and make him beat out Carr for the starting job, and whoever wins it wins it? That team has talent, just maybe not the right quarterback. It's one of those situations where it's like that I could think of. Again, if the Browns hadn't gotten rid of Amari Cooper, I would say Cleveland is at least a decent situation where they have a good defense. They have a good running game.
If the Colts decided it's not working with Richardson,
and they won't this early on, but
you let Rodgers take over, maybe, right? Good offensive line, run the ball with Taylor. I like the weapons that Indianapolis, maybe.
The worst thing that could happen was he would go to the Giants. The worst thing.
Well, that will definitely not happen.
Well, there aren't a lot of quarterbacks that I would be like, yes, that's the guy I want to be my franchise quarterback this year. Like, I'm not sure that Cam Ward is going to be my dude.
Yeah. Okay. We're moving on in the NFL.
It's time for the MVP of the month, sponsored by Marcella's Appliance Center.
Our guys at Marcella's, Johnny, Marcella, and Nick Madeline. By the way, on the Wednesdays, we do the show here on a Wednesday. Happy birthday to Nick.
Nick, happy birthday.
Celebrating right before Thanksgiving. Our MVP of the month. Ash, you jumped on this one right away. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, and it breaks my heart as a Giants fan, but he's been arguably the best running back in the league this year.
Oh, he's been that.
Outside of Derrick Henry. But this is a guy who has 10 touchdowns, almost 1,400 yards rushing, 2 receiving touchdowns. Just some of the highlights that you've seen. I think he's averaging like 6.2 yards a carry, which I understand is a little bit skewed because you rip off 70-yard runs and that changes the numbers a little bit. But like 6.2 yards a carry, he's been absolutely everything that the Eagles thought he would be and everything that the Giants hoped he would not be. They did not want him to go to Philadelphia and prove them wrong to say, hey, I was worth more than the $13 million. Well, guess what? He's right. He was worth more than the $13 million.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. I was making a case to some coworkers a couple of weeks ago that Barkley should be getting some MVP consideration. They look at you funny because it has become a quarterback award.
He should be.
But Barkley, I'm with you. He feels like he's what's keeping this Eagles thing together here. They've had stretches where A.J. Brown has been hurt, and now Devontae Smith is hurt. Barkley has been the constant. They've won 7 in a row. They're going to win that division. They likely won't collapse the way they did last year. I'm not saying they're winning the Super Bowl, but he feels like he's been the difference maker for the Eagles this
because
year.
Jalen has not been what he was in past years. Their offensive line hasn't even quite been what it was in past years, but he's been awesome. Yeah,
you're right, Troy. I mean, and I've said to Ash, for the size that Barkley, the size of his legs, how quickly they move is crazy.
Enormous.
What's up, Sam? Good to have you. Carol as well. Jonathan, good to have you part of the show here. Love it.
A good Wednesday
Brian,
crowd.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Saw
to
Brian
you,
the other
man.
day.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's take a quick break here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back on the show, Ash, we'll go inside Alpen House a little bit. I'll take you through some of the MLB Hall of Fame ballot conversation I had on the brain earlier this week.
Like that.
When I saw Ichiro as a first-timer, CC Sabathia as a first-timer, and King Felix as well. Felix Hernandez will all 3 get in on the first ballot. We're back on Onorato and Miller right after this.
Love with camping all over again with a new RV from Alpen House. As our attention turns to changing leaves and tailgate parties, be sure to stop by Alpen House to find the perfect RV for your fall camping trips. You'll love this Coachman Catalina for only $131 a month. And check out this Keystone Cougar Sport for only $358 a month. Whether you're snowbirds heading south or leaf peeping through New England, our outfitters will make sure you have everything you need for your autumn adventure. Shop online at alpenhouserv.com or come see us in Amsterdam and Saratoga.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on. For cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair, you can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
Now inside the showroom at Alpen House on Route 30 in Amsterdam, we'll talk with Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones coming up in a little bit. Become an annual tradition for us on the show. Small group of us get to do it. Really cool that we get the opportunity every single year to talk with the owner of the Cowboys about the Red Kettle campaign, the Salvation Army that his team is such a big part of. Giants Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Is it good football? I'll let you decide.
But everyone will be huddled around the TV 4:30. One of the owners here at Alpen House, Andy Heck, big Cowboys fan, he'll be watching for sure. With Black Friday, Small Business Saturday coming up around the holidays, obviously the showroom is ready to go here, Route 30 in Amsterdam, Clifton Park location, RV shop in Amsterdam as well. Come check out all the great deals Alpen House has. We'll run down some of them for you. We'll show you some of the products. And if you're like an off-season shopper, which is kind of my thing too, great deals right now on patio furniture. So if you want to replace what you've got on the deck or the patio for next year, now's the time to do it. 50% off some of the best products in the store right now. So we'll take you through some of those, everything you need to get ready for the ski slopes and the winter season, which is obviously fast approaching. Man, you can feel it just changing very quickly here in the weather we're getting recently. All right, a couple things I want to hit on while I'm here at Alpen House. Some names now on the Hall of Fame ballot for the first time this year. I'm convinced 2 of the 3 on your screen are in easily, and then we'll talk about King Felix. But Ichiro, you can't possibly keep him out. If there is a voter who doesn't, 1, believe Ichiro is a Hall of Famer, or 2, that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, they shouldn't be voting. If you watched him play, he is a shoo-in first ballot Hall of Famer. There is nothing the guy couldn't do in the batter's box. Stole bases as well as anybody during his time in the league. And one of the best outfielders I've ever seen. Not the best, but one of the best. Maybe the strongest arm I've seen from right field. Andre Dawson is a guy that comes to mind as well. But I mean, what Ichiro was able to do defensively on top of, his prowess at the plate, batting champs, 3,000 hits, all of those things. The guy won't be unanimous because there'll be somebody out there who just decides he isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, so you don't vote for him. But he gets in, and I would think easily gets in first ballot. CC Sabathia, now we have to retrain the way we view starting pitchers, right? And the statistics. 300 wins was the automatic. I don't know that we ever see somebody get to 300 again. CC didn't get there, but he had more than 3,000 strikeouts. I think he's like 3rd all-time in career strikeouts as a left-handed pitcher. Randy Johnson, Steve Carlton, I believe, are the 2 ahead of him. CC gets in, and yeah, I think you're going to look at it and say, yeah, but the numbers for today's starting pitcher, and today's starting pitcher, that started back in like the mid 2000s, right? That decade, the middle of that first decade of this century. That's where we have to start thinking, okay, maybe a guy doesn't get to 300. Is there a new number, or is it just the eye test? And I don't think there is a new number. What would that new number be? 250, 220, 190? Guys are going to get in right around that 200 win mark and not much more, because when we watched them, we knew this is one of the most dominant pitchers of his era. And Sabathia could do it all. I mean, look, it was great when he had the opportunity to hit when he was in Milwaukee. The guy could hit too. So CC is a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He got his ring with the Yankees, strikeout guy, even reinvented himself a little bit after the issues he had off the field. Stopped eating cereal the way he did, slimmed down, lost some of the power, but was still able to pitch really now. King Felix, to me, is the most interesting case here, because if you look at his career numbers, wins, losses, which people say is not that important of a stat anymore, fine. And that was evident in the way Felix Hernandez won one of his Cy Youngs. I think he finished the year 13-12 for the Mariners and won the Cy Young. That's how dominant he was, but how little run support he got from an otherwise bad Mariners team. I think Felix gets in eventually. 2 Cy Youngs, a perfect game. And again, when you watched him, when he was healthy, he was dominant. The ERA crowns he had in the American League. Like, I think eventually he gets in. not on the first ballot. I don't know that CC gets in on the first ballot either. That one's tough for me. I'm going to say probably, because if you look at the rest of the ballot, there's nobody really else on there that these voters want to vote for. Billy Wagner gets in. I think he was like 4 or 5 votes shy the last time, and this will be his 10th and final year on the ballot. So he gets a little bit of love there, I think, an extra boost. Andrew Jones has been close. Does he go from 65 to 75 in a single year? It's a big jump to make, maybe. So Ichiro and Wagner, for me, are the guys that get in this year. CC, I'm going to say probably. I have no idea, right? Trying to figure out which way baseball voters are going to go on the Hall of Fame is near impossible. And then I think Felix gets in, but not quite yet. All right, let's take a break here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, take you around the showroom a little bit, walk you through some of the great deals Alpen House has, and a look at the NBA season 1 month in. I think the East is all but locked up, barring a major injury. It just does not feel like a strong conference to me this year. Some dangerous teams, but Boston's not afraid of Cleveland or New York. Okay, we'll get to that. And the West, I think wide open. West is going to be a lot of fun in the playoffs, I think, once we get to that. Are you paying attention to the NBA Cup? It's a little fun. We're back right after this on Onorato and Miller.
I'm Jeff Ukelek. I'm owner of Bev's, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just going to have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always going to get the same experience when you shop at Bev's. At the end of the day, if you walk in your stores, you're going to see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
The great thing about Novice is no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable.
This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
And back live now from that quick look inside Alpen House. On to more business, Ash.
And now, dirty, difficult, and done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Bill Miller, Sean Wilcoxon, the great crew at Performance Industrial. There's never a job that's too dirty or too difficult for them to get it done.
New rankings are out, and we've talked about the 12-team playoff. It'd be hard to imagine Alabama not in a 4-team playoff, although more realistic recently. But if the season ended today, Alabama would not be in the playoff, and it is going to be a 12-team playoff. That, to me, is a little bit mind-blowing. It just goes to show you kind of the parity and how things have shaken out. But Kalen DeBoer's first year in Tuscaloosa is not exactly a honeymoon. They haven't – listen, that team is as talented as any. And if they ripped off a bunch of wins in the college football playoff and made it to the Final Four or the championship game, who would really be surprised? Nobody. But the fact that they would not be in a 12-team playoff today blows my mind. And I don't know that I could wrap my mind around it if it was 5 years from now.
I know this much. Saban wouldn't have lost at Vanderbilt, and Saban wouldn't have only produced 3 points at Oklahoma.
Nope.
Those are truths in this lifetime. Very surprising that it has gone the way it has for Alabama. You can obviously, they're not here on your screen. Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, all 4 stay the same. Notre Dame bumps a spot to 5. Miami, Georgia's back in and way back in. They were out, now they're 7. Tennessee, SMU, Indiana slides all the way from 5 to 10. Boise up a spot. Clemson sneaks their way in. Okay. You know I've been against the expansion of the playoff.
Yeah.
I said we don't need it. If you just said to me, hey, I don't need more good football, I just want more football, I've said, cool, go for it. Because that's what you're going to get. we are going to get a 3-loss team into this playoff, and you can't tell me they earned that spot. They are in by default because nobody else took the spot from them. So whether it's a 3-loss Alabama team or a 3-loss South Carolina team, oh, by the way, look out for the Gamecocks here this weekend. They beat Clemson. I think they get in. You're going to get a 3-loss. Ole Miss is probably done. But Bama and South Carolina as 3-loss teams, I think could sneak their way back in here. And to me, it just makes 0 sense. 4 was working. It's now more difficult to figure out squeezing 12 teams in than the 4. When we had the 14 playoff, there was like 1, maybe 2 teams that felt, hey, we have a case. 12, now we're going to get 16 teams that say, hey, we have a case to get in.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's the case. You're just going to get teams, outside of the top 12 that are similar to the final 3 that make it in. But yeah, I mean, think about what a 4-team playoff would look like here. You would have no Alabama, no Georgia, no Tennessee, no Notre Dame. It would be interesting because I'm not sold that Oregon or Penn State is all that great. So I'm not sure that if you ended the season today that we would have the 4 best teams in the country.
Okay.
But
well, then we're doing this wrong. Because previously we had the 4 best teams in the country ready to go.
Maybe.
Right?
I don't know. I'm saying if we did it the way that they used to do it, I still don't know that you have the 4 best teams in the country. But
yeah, we're going to get to, I think, 14 teams in 2026, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. I don't know. Hard to say. All right, that's our performance industrial dirty difficult done here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, we are going to talk with Charlotte Jones. She's the daughter of Jerry Jones.
Fill in for Dad.
Dad not feeling great
under the weather
today ahead of the Thanksgiving Day. And who could blame him watching that product and what's coming into town even? I would think I'm staying in bed too. But we'll talk about the Cowboys and the partnership with Salvation Army every single Thanksgiving, the great work they've done together. We're back right after this.
Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
I'm Jeff Fukelek. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just gonna have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place. It's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always gonna get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're gonna see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House.
This has become a really fun annual tradition for us ahead of Thanksgiving on Onorato and Miller, an opportunity to talk with a major driving force behind the Salvation Army's Red Kettle campaign, year 28 now, between the biggest brand in football, certainly maybe all of sports, the Dallas Cowboys and the Salvation Army teaming up to raise now more than $3 billion. But you see the graphics behind me, it's Giants Cowboys again, and we are so happy to be joined by Charlotte Jones, Kenneth Hodder, the national commander for the Salvation Army. It's so good to see you guys. Thank you for doing this again with us. Charlotte, I joked with your father a couple of years ago. I think the only thing that could bring Giants and Cowboys fans together would be something like Thanksgiving.
That is exactly right. We'll commiserate together on Thanksgiving Day, but we are so excited to see the Giants again, and being able to play and have that kind of matchup on Thanksgiving Day as we go out to the nation is really special for us, and we don't take that lightly. But to get to partner with the Salvation Army and at halftime go out to the millions of people that will be watching, partner with Lainey Wilson, bring an entertaining halftime show, and raise awareness for the Salvation Army so that those at home will be inspired and maybe give a little to that red kettle so we can truly help the people in our community that need it the most. Yeah. This is what this campaign and this halftime and this whole great day around Thanksgiving is all about, that we have neighbors in need and we have to figure out how to help them, and we're going to help the Salvation Army go do that.
Well, Kenneth, Commissioner Hodder, we know one thing. When there's one game on, as this game will be at 4:30 on Thanksgiving afternoon, it doesn't matter if it's two backup quarterbacks. All eyes will be on this game. Can you give us some perspective in terms of how this partnership with the Cowboys has benefited the Salvation Army? I said $3 billion, but boy, that's a big number to try to wrap our heads around.
It's an astonishing number, Chris, and we will always be grateful to the Cowboys organization, to the Jones family, certainly to Lainey Wilson for the opportunity to once again make America aware of the needs that their neighbors have. So for us, tomorrow is always a touchdown, because we're going to have an opportunity to tell folks that there are ways in which they can make a difference in their own community with those who are homeless, those who are hungry, the children who don't have a toy for Christmas, the seniors who are alone, the children that need to grow up with greater opportunities. All of this effort helps make those services available year-round. I know that Major Stoops in the Albany, Schenectady, and Troy areas are working very hard. Last year, in fact, they served more than 166,000 meals in that community. That's the kind of thing that the Christmas Red Kettle makes possible. So we're really looking forward to it again this year.
Well, Commissioner, you have proven over the last few years, you know the 518 pretty well here upstate New York, eastern part of the state, the capital region, we like to call it. Charlotte, you're the chief brand officer of this enormous brand, as we've talked about, the Dallas Cowboys. And with all the halftime acts you bring in, right? I mean, everything's bigger in Texas, they say. Why has this relationship with the Salvation Army only gotten bigger and never gotten old? We see a lot of times philanthropic relationships just kind of run out, but this one hasn't. Why?
You know, I think because unfortunately the need has not run out. Yeah. And when we look across our communities, and as an NFL team, as the Cowboys, we are only as good as the support that we get from our communities. And so our fans are in need, and we need to find a way to help them. And when you take on that charge, you want the best partner possible to do that. And that has been forever the Salvation Army, and they have become even more efficient and effective than the day we first met over almost 30 years ago. And to look towards them, to really be able to use who we are to inspire people to reach into their pockets and give, so that they then can go help the people and our neighbors that actually truly need it. And when you have a partnership like that, you're inspired by it and you're motivated by it. And it's not just our family, it's our players. Year after year, they look forward to this because they know that the game that they play can make a difference in someone's life.
Obviously, the season hasn't gone up to par for the Giants or the Cowboys this year, what many of these fan bases are accustomed to. But despite all of that, a win on Thanksgiving, does that make the meal afterwards taste good?
Well, it certainly does. I'm not going to shy away from that at all, especially this year. We will take them any way we can get them. And, you know, I think both teams, you know, obviously we both have struggled and have a lot of reasons why.
Sure.
But that doesn't diminish the fight. Right. And it will be a powerful game tomorrow. And most importantly, it will be a game that benefits more than those who are playing it. It will benefit those watching and those that don't have the ability to watch, and that's what we're here for.
That's right.
I love that. I'm sure you have heard the rumors. That was always a little fun, like, hey, wouldn't it be great if the Cowboys signed Daniel Jones just to start him on Thanksgiving Day against the Giants? But, you know, that's for people like us in the media to enjoy.
I know. Well, we're a little short on our depth chart. We're dropping like flies around here, so we're willing to pick them up wherever we can find them.
Well, Charlotte, Kenneth, thank you guys both so much. Wish you a very happy Thanksgiving and holiday season. We appreciate the time here on the NBC in Albany, New York, News Channel 13. Thank you.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable.
This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
Fall in love with camping all over again with a new RV from Alpenhaus. As our attention turns to changing leaves and tailgate parties, be sure to stop by Alpenhaus to find the perfect RV for your fall camping trips. You'll love this Coachman Catalina for only $131 a month. And check out this Keystone Cougar Sport for only $358 a month. Whether you're snowbirds heading south or leaf peeping through New England, our outfitters will make sure you have everything you need for your autumn adventure. Shop online at alpenhausrv.com or come see us in Amsterdam and Saratoga.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
I'm telling you, I love how the commander of the Salvation Army always knows
He does.
his
He always
regional
does.
people.
Yeah.
He knows that Albany, Troy, Schenectady area.
He hammers the Tri-City area and always nails Schenectady, which is super impressive.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our picks here. We will pick that game. Here were our picks last week. Quick rundown of the games, the winners, the losers. This is what it looked out record-wise. Not good. My second straight 1-4, dropping me to 34.
You're still
and
above
30.
500.
You had a 3-2 week, 3 games ahead of me now at 37 and 27. Here we go. The one Thanksgiving game we're going to pick. Giants and Cowboys. Drew Lock for Big Blue. No Tommy DeVito, sore forearm. He got beat up in that game against Tampa Bay. So Drew Lock wanted the job. Guess what, Drew Lock? You get the job. Good luck.
After a week of not getting
now,
the job.
Dallas is bad at home this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing a backup quarterback. Why are we on the Cowboys here? Because I saw the game. I thought, I'm picking Dallas. I could see the Giants winning this game. Dallas is not good.
When people like Malik Neighbors come out in the public and say, it's not a quarterback problem. I get it. It's not a quarterback problem. You can't be saying that.
And wasn't it Dexter Lawrence?
The wheels are falling off.
Questioned. He said, Daniel Jones is our best quarterback. What are we doing? Kind of thing.
So it feels like it's coming apart at the seams.
Okay. Well, then it's going to be awfully difficult for Brian Dable and Joe Shane to keep their jobs. Well, if they lose control of this thing, if the Giants don't win another game the rest of the way, and there continues to be dissension among the ranks, guess what? I know that's good for the future of the franchise to lose games, but it's not good for job security of the head coach and general manager. So we'll see how this goes. All right. We like Dallas to win by more than a field goal here at home on Thanksgiving. By the way, Dallas historically good at home, always at home on Thanksgiving. Good on Thanksgiving. So here we go. Okay. Steelers, Bengals. How many times have I said it? Bengals are a team I just cannot quit this year. I believe they are better than their record. I also know that this Steelers offense with Russell Wilson has really come down to earth. They're kicking a lot of field goals, and field goals don't win games on the road. The Bengals offense is good enough to score on what is a very good Pittsburgh defense. Give me Cincinnati.
Yeah, I understand that the Steelers defense our Steelers offense has come back down to earth a little bit. But unlike you, I can quit the Bengals.
Yeah, I know.
It's just hard to believe that the offensive performances that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are putting up are essentially historic. They're MVP type campaigns for both of them. And they're on a really bad team, or at least a team with a really bad record. Yeah. They probably shouldn't be as bad as they are. I can quit them. I'm riding the Steelers, and that's a team that I said to you is the most interesting team of the year for me at the beginning of the season. I still think they're kind of interesting because the defense is really, really good. And if they can bring back like the first couple of Russell starts, that's a team that could make some noise.
Yeah. Okay. Cardinals and Vikings were different here also. Now, I really liked Arizona last week. They were coming off a bye at Seattle. Didn't love the Seahawks at home. They've struggled there this year. The Cardinals offense couldn't do anything. So I'm trying to figure out what are they? I don't know.
I don't know.
This is my shot in the dark here that I believe they're better than what we saw last week. Back on the road again. Minnesota down to earth a little bit. I like Arizona's defense here. I think this is low scoring. Give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, I just think I have the same reservations as you about what are the Cardinals. Are they the team that comes out and scores 45, or are they the team that scores 13? For me, they're too hard to figure out. And I think we've seen the best of the Vikings.
Yeah.
And when the best of the Vikings is here, it's really good. So I'm going to stick with the Vikings until they prove otherwise.
And they're always tough at home. Eagles and Ravens. This one surprised me that we both had Baltimore here, but it's a small number, 2.5. And Baltimore is that team again that I feel like should be one of the, I mean, they are one of the best in the AFC, but they really should play like they can easily contend with both Kansas City and Buffalo. We haven't really seen that all year long. I'm taking a shot here with the Ravens. And also the thought that Philly's winning streak ends at some point. This is maybe it.
Yeah, and I think for me, it was the Chargers aren't a great team, but it was a pretty convincing win on Monday night, last Monday. And they have all of the tools. They have the running back. They have the quarterback. They have everything they need to make a deep run. I think they're the better team. And the Eagles have Saquon Barkley, so we'll see.
Yeah, you're going to get Henry and
if
Barkley.
He runs for 250 yards, I mean, this is like if you like running backs, this is your game.
And running quarterbacks.
Yep, this is it.
This will be a fun one. I love that it's the 4:25 game on Sunday. That'll be fun. We're both like Baltimore. The Sunday nighter on News Channel 13, Niners at the Bills. I took the Niners last week at Green Bay, not knowing who would play and who wouldn't play. McCaffrey, even though he's playing, just does not look healthy. No Trent Williams last week. No Brock Purdy. Still no Brendan Ayuk. No Nick Bosa. Buffalo at home in prime time. Bills Mafia is going to probably.
Yeah.
Bills Mafia is going to be wild.
I think this number is 7.5 now.
So I like 6.5 then.
I feel like that's too big of a number for me. And I felt like 6.5 was too big of a number. I like a close game. It depends on what the weather is. If we get weather, I would ride the Bills hard. But
okay. Here's a recap of our picks. Different on the Bengals and Steelers, different on the Cardinals and Vikings, different on the Niners and Bills. All right. Going to be an interesting week. For me, I really need some help.
You don't. You're 4 games above 500. It's fine.
But 3 back of you.
That's okay.
That's the difference maker right there. All right, we'll take another time out here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, we'll go back inside Alpenhaus. And as we do that, we'll look at the first month of the NBA season. We'll also talk, Ash, with the head coach of the Albany FireWolves, Glenn Clark, ahead of their season opener. Back right after this.
With camping all over again with a new RV from Alpenhaus. As our attention turns to changing leaves and tailgate parties, be sure to stop by Alpenhaus to find the perfect RV for your fall camping trips. You'll love this Coachman Catalina for only $131 a month. And check out this Keystone Cougar Sport for only $358 a month. Whether you're snowbirds heading south or leaf peeping through New England, our outfitters will make sure you have everything you need for your autumn adventure. Shop online at alpenhausrv.com or come see us in Amsterdam and Saratoga.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
I'm back now inside Alpenhaus, Route 30 in Amsterdam. And I mean, this place is just so awesome. It is packed, ready for you to do any shopping you need, and it's decorated for Christmas as well, with some Christmas music going here. All the winter accessories you could possibly need, clothing, ski equipment, and some incredible deals as well for Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and really it all gets going on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, as we're doing this show. So come on down here to Route 30 in Amsterdam. Check them out. Tell Andy, Heck, Katie Osborne, and the entire crew here that you saw it all on Onorato and Miller. I mean, regular price jackets, right? If you don't have a good jacket for winter, 20% off. Ski poles, 30% off. Ski and boot bags, 30% off. Helmets are discounted. Sunglasses here in Amsterdam and in Clifton Park at a discount, 40%. We're talking Oakley's and Costa and Smith, 20% off. UGG boots. Yeti products are on sale, 15% discount. Ski racks for your car, mittens and gloves, ski goggles, everything discounted here for the holiday shopping season, right? Or even if you're just kind of like, hey, I need something for me, I want to get it at a discount, now's the time to do it here at Alpenhaus, Route 30 in Amsterdam, Clifton Park store as well. A great resource for some of your ski needs. Okay, we'll get to the patio furniture in a little bit, which I've already talked about on the show, at 50% off. We'll show you some of that. But I want to get into what's happening here 1 month into the NBA season. The Cavs have been a great story, right? 17-1 as we do the show. That one loss to the team they just can't possibly beat in a 7-game series from my perspective, and that's the Boston Celtics. So they started 15-0. They get a date with Boston. They lose that game. It was a weird game. Boston had a huge lead early. Then it gets tight late, and the Celtics end up winning that thing. I think it would be a fun, competitive series because Cleveland can really score it, and I like their bigs inside. But Boston is on another level. They bring Porzingis back now. Look at the way he reinserted himself into the conversation on Monday night. This team is just loaded and ready to go for another run at this. And I don't feel like the East is all that strong. When we started the year, okay, many of you would have said, hey, look out for New York, right? The trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Look out for Philadelphia, the addition of Paul George. Knicks have played below level, and the Sixers are an absolute disaster, 10 games under 500. So if you look at those standings, like Milwaukee hasn't figured this thing out yet. Dangerous, but do you trust them in a big spot or in a 7-game series? I don't. I mean, this thing is Boston's, and I think the Celtics can be very strategic about how they limit their guys this year, Porzingis especially, to be ready for a playoff run where they don't feel like, hey, we've got to go all in every single night just to try to get home court advantage or even a playoff spot, right? Like, they're in good shape. I think they can be very strategic about how they handle things. Now, out west, a little more difficult to forecast here. I did not see Golden State being this good, but it's fun that they are again. I'm a huge Steph Curry guy, always have been. And so as long as he's in the league, I will root for him. It's not a Warriors thing. It's a Curry thing. And so I enjoy seeing them back towards the top of the Western Conference standings. But look how good Minnesota was last year. Not this year. OKC is back in there, right? Back towards the top. And they're as dangerous as any team in the West. Look at what the Lakers have been able to sustain a little bit. Can they do that for the course of a season? You got to start to be careful with LeBron's minutes, and do you trust Anthony Davis to stay healthy, and all of these things. So the West is a little more murky, as I put it, than the East. The Celtics, for me, are a no-brainer going to win the Eastern Conference. All right, let me take you back to the patio section, shall I? We have 50% off a lot of this stuff here, and so if you are, like I said, an off-season shopper, now's the time to do it here at Alpen House. The discounts are insane. So we're talking, here it is. Get a shot of that? Bang. 50% off. All patio furniture. Come on. This is ridiculous, right? Telescope. And they're grills too, right? Like, not just patio furniture, but there are grills here. If you need a new one, a lot of people who love to grill will do it in the winter, no matter what. But if you are thinking already ahead to next spring, next summer, you want to be ready. Look at this. This is the place to come. Okay. Spas, hot tubs, all the furniture. Okay. You could possibly need heat lamps. You want to sit out on the deck in the winter? Fire one of those things up. You can do that. The discounts are as good as they will ever be here at Alpen House and on patio furniture of this quality anywhere, any time of year. So come check them out. All right, when we come back, we will talk with Albany FireWolves head coach Glenn Clark ahead of the season opener at MVP Arena Saturday night, a team that went all the way to the NLL Finals a year ago, trying to get back, and they are loaded to do just that. We're back on Onorato and Miller in a minute.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
I'm Jeff Uklick. I'm owner of Bevs, and we're a beverage center in upstate New York. You're just gonna have that wow component when you come in, like, wow, look at this place, it's bright, it's clean, it has everything that I need. Consumer is king. Be able to provide them a friendly environment and a place to shop, no matter where they are, whether they're down here in Saratoga or whether they're up in Queensbury. You're always gonna get the same experience when you shop at Bevs. At the end of the day, if you walk in these stores, you're gonna see a lot of people that have a lot of pride.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Albany House.
Welcome back to Onorato and Miller. Chris is figuratively on the sidelines right now, just for this interview. I will literally be on the sidelines on Saturday night, FireWolves home opener, joined by head coach Glenn Clark. And coach, another season is here already. 2 days post-Thanksgiving. You guys aren't thinking about food, you're thinking about lacrosse.
We are, yeah. It's exciting, right? We do this every year. We talk at the beginning, and the preseason is all about optimism, and then it kind of slaps you in the face on Saturday. You get right back into it. So excited to be back. Excited about this group, and hopefully it's a good weekend and it fits into people's schedule, and we can pack the building.
Coach, this is a team you guys got high. They were high expectations last year, but you rode the roller coaster a little bit and still made it all the way to the finals. You add pieces somehow this year. Is this group, do you think you've added enough to be more talented maybe even than last year's group?
We're definitely more talented. I mean, when you look at our roster on paper, we're definitely a more talented group. But that's a dangerous statement because you still have to play the game and still have to recognize how difficult this league is. And everybody gets better. So I like our group. I like our talent on paper. And then, now it's the execution phase. So I like what our potential is. I like the opportunity we have with this group. And it's exciting. We're bigger, stronger, faster, more skilled. And we needed a little bit of that. And with the addition of the, 4 guys in particular, with Dyson, Will, Zach Masson, and Eric Fennell, that's what we are. So it's exciting. It's going to be exciting for the fans as well.
The guy that we've been talking about, it feels like for a couple years now, because he was the first overall pick 2 years ago, is Dyson. He went back to Duke for that 5th year because of COVID. Now he's finally here. I think this is something that the fans have been waiting for. What have you seen from him in camp, and has he been what you had hoped? And I know we haven't even played a real game yet.
Yeah, he's been as advertised. I mean, he had a great preseason. I've mentioned this to you before. I've literally known him since he was a baby. I was playing with his dad when he was born. So I've seen Dyson grow up, and I've coached against him as a young man, and coached against him in junior, and really known the family well and watched Dyson's progress. So he is as advertised. He is, the thing that I think surprises everyone is how big and athletic he is. I think people think of him as a skilled offensive player, and then when they see him live, they're like, whoa, I didn't realize he was that big and that fast. And, that's a great compliment to have for an offensive player, to have that kind of speed, size, strength to go along with skill and IQ. So, yeah, certainly as advertised, worthy of the number 1 overall pick, and has looked great in preseason.
Coach, how does that side of the ball mesh when you had guys like Alex Simmons and Ty Kurtz who got so many points, got so many goals last year in their first year as rookies? Where do the points go? And is that just you figure that out because it's a good problem to have? Like, we'll figure out the points and who gets them when we get there?
Yeah, and my concern is not about individual points. Obviously, I care about one result and how well we do offensively. And the nice thing about Dyson's game is he can play off ball, on ball. He's a very good distributor, great vision. So he's not somebody that's going to come in and sort of disrupt the concepts of our offense. We're predicated on speed and ball movement and playing without the ball on your stick and creating opportunities off ball. And that's his game. So he fits very nicely into not only what we have, but what our offensive principles and concepts are. So it's been a really smooth transition. There will be more growth as we go and as the real games come. But when you add somebody that's that level of talent and has had the successes he's had already, he played for the Canadian national team and he wasn't even a pro yet. That's a pretty impressive feat. Certainly what he did at Duke and what he's done in Canada in the box game. So, he's got a great resume. He's got great experience. He's got great composure, and he'll be figuring it out very quickly.
I know on the defensive side of the ball, you would say you've gotten bigger, maybe grittier, tougher. There's one guy who, it's funny because I have more of like a relationship with him as a coach because he's been standing next to you on the bench for the last year plus in a suit, and people may think he's a coach, but Will Johansson is a guy who is, I think, going to quietly just kind of sneak his way onto this team. He's a first-round pick from a couple years ago, coming off an ACL tear. What will he add, and what does I guess he bring? What kind of game does he bring to the defensive side of the ball?
He's a really, he if you want to compare him to what we have already, sort of like a Nick Chikowski type of player. Really good on loose balls, great defense, creates turnovers, and can run the floor. He's sort of, to copy from another sport, he's kind of like a 5-tool player, right? He kind of has speed, skill, IQ. He's got it all. And his preseason has been great. He took over a year to heal from that ACL and trained really hard and looks, and sometimes people come back stronger. He looks stronger. He's fast. He's got no hesitation between the ears, which sometimes is the biggest battle when you come back from those injuries. But he's gone to high traffic areas. He's played with speed. There's been no hesitation, and he's come back without a brace, which is the ultimate level of confidence for somebody coming off an ACL. So mentally, physically, he's where he needs to be. And I'm excited for him because I've watched Will for a long time. He's very good friends with my son, played with my son, lived with my son. And when we had the opportunity to draft him, it's pretty exciting. And I'm excited for these guys. This is their first game, and they're living out a dream by playing in the NLL. So it's an exciting time for them. And I'm glad they're with our group and making their debuts with us.
Home opener Saturday night at MVP Arena downtown. You come off the Thanksgiving hangover, Black Friday. Why not go to a lacrosse game on Saturday night and see some of the guys that you've talked about who are going to make their professional debuts in box lacrosse? Coach Saskatchewan's in town. I know we've compared them to this team, to your team. They're a little bit similar in that way. What kind of challenge do they present? And how much of a chess match will this be for two similar teams?
Yeah, I think their challenge is their speed and the tempo they want to play with. Like some teams are a little more methodical and like to play a half court offense, defense. Saskatchewan wants to run. They want to win it between the lines. They want to play fast in transition. They want to speed you up and try and create turnovers. So we've got to be aware of how we transition the ball, being responsible. Slowing it down when we have to, because their game is predicated on speed. And they want to cause chaos. And the nice thing is we've got those athletes that can play with speed as well. So it's going to be a fast game. It's not, some of our games are, a little more methodical, a little more, half court battles. This is going to be between the lines and there's going to be a lot of up-tempo play.
Coach, it's a whiteout on Saturday night. So if you're at MVP, wear your white. But in the off season, big news, we're staying at MVP Arena, at least for a couple more years now. How excited are you to just kind of continue to build this brand and to build box lacrosse? Albany is a lacrosse town. We're just trying to build the box game here in Albany.
Yeah. And I've moved down here with my family and I've fallen in love with the area, the community. And so selfishly, I want to stay for, a long run here. So it's really important. It's important that, ownership is invested in the community, but it can't be a one-way street. So, the community has to catch up to that investment with support. And that's what we want. We want people in the building They come and they get to see the best players in the world and a great product and a great game. So that's the joy and the investment from the fan standpoint. And I'm excited because we've got a great team, we've got a great venue, and we've got a great product to push. So it's exciting. I'm happy with ownership, how they've stepped up and put their money where their mouth is and invested in the community. And I hope the community appreciates that and understands the beauty and the value of coming to a game.
Well, I know you're having some of the guys over for U.S. Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, happy birthday, and we'll see you for the home opener on Saturday, Coach. Good luck, but thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Saturday for a big one.
Yeah, thanks, Ash. Always a pleasure. Say hi to Chris for me.
The great thing about novices, no matter who you are, they're going to put all the detail in the world into your brand. I feel like they have been a big part of my success, making me feel comfortable.
This is Harrison Butker, Super Bowl champion kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Claim your crown.
Fall in love with camping all over again with a new RV from Alpen House. As our attention turns to changing leaves and tailgate parties, be sure to stop by Alpen House to find the perfect RV for your fall camping trips. You'll love this Coachman Catalina for only $131 a month. And check out this Keystone Cougar Sport for only $358 a month. Whether you're snowbirds heading south or leaf peeping through New England, our outfitters will make sure you have everything you need for your autumn adventure. Shop online at alpenhouserv.com or come see us in Amsterdam and Saratoga.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpen House.
Always good to see Clarky on the show. Thanks for handling that interview, Ash. And that season opener again, MVP Arena, Saturday night, November 30th. Another home game coming on December 14th. If you can't make the opener, get your tickets for those.
Yeah.
I know you're pumped to be back on the sideline. This is a really good team. You said it during the interview. As talented as there is in the league, the games are fun. If you've never been, the games are fun. If you've never been to them, it's worth it.
They're fun. I mean, listen, this is a team that last year went to the NLL Finals.
Yeah.
And all they did was add the number 1 overall pick from 2 years ago, who went back for a 5th year for COVID at Duke. Like, how much better can you get? I don't know, but they're going to be better. So let's see how much of the league around has also gotten better, and they should be really good.
Yeah.
This should be a lot of fun.
Thanksgiving for everybody watching.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hope you have a great holiday, and it's everything you could want it to be food-wise.
This is not your favorite holiday.
No, don't care.
Not thankful.
I mean, don't care. Won't be with family.
No, you will not.
That said, the idea that I'll be missing the food, couldn't care less.
Yeah, you're not a big food guy. If you didn't know that about Chris, he's not a big food guy. I wake up and think about food, what I'm eating for the day, for lunch, for dinner.
If it was a huge spread of pastas and I'm in. Italian food,
yeah,
let's go.
The turkey, not as much. I like all the fixings.
No interest.
Like, I want the stuffing, the cranberry sauce, the veggies, all of it. I get excited.
Can I put this up there? I don't know if I can or not, but I did. Yeah, not my thing. Not my thing. Brian, hope you have a great holiday as well.
Yeah, it's just not his thing. He eats to survive.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Not to thrive. I eat to thrive.
Not a lot of thriving going on over here. Anyway, hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you finding this show every single weekend, however you do, on social media or on TV on the weekend as well. Enjoy, everyone.